With the growth of research in the medical field, humans decide it's a good idea to test our products that we design on many different animals, such as dogs, cats, primates, guinea pigs, fish, rabbits, or rats. Testing products that may possibly harm these defenseless animals is inhumane and needs to be stopped. There may be some small cases where animal testing has benefited the human population. However, the effects it has on animals are much greater. According to ConnectUSFund.org, the animals we test are usually put through very painful processes. Some test results often require being force-fed or deprived of food and water. This itself is already terrible enough, knowing that these animals are being forced to live uncomfortably without any say. Some animals are inflicted with burns and wounds to be able to test the effects or processes of different remedies. Forcing animals to live like this is pretty much torturing them because this type of experimentation may often lead to the death of these animals, and if not, they are forced to be kept in captivity, living in these pains every day for the rest of their lives. Doing this to any human would be considered torture, and the people doing it would be arrested. So why is it right to do so to a harmless animal? The U.S. Department of Agriculture reported that there were over 97,000 animals harmed in the testings in just the year 2010, and that number grows larger with each year. According to AboutAnimalTesting.org, the cost of animal testing is also very high. These animals need to be housed, fed, and cared for when in captivity for these tests. The cost of the animals themselves may also be high as well. Having volunteer testings for people with full disclosure of the side effects would not only be beneficial, but also cheaper. The money we use to test on animals could have been put directly towards the research and finding more cures for diseases that could end up being much more beneficial than these testings. Procon.com states that science has discovered new ways to test just the cells found in human bodies that we could use to test instead of animals, and we also wouldn't be putting the risks on the people volunteering. Some computer models can now actually simulate these tests being done to show an accurate representation of what the results will end up being. Neurologist Aisha Akhtar stated in her tests that 94% of drugs that pass animal tests fail in their human trials. Helpless animals are being tortured and many also die in these processes, and the results most of the time aren't even beneficial to the humans. Animals and humans aren't the same, so testing between an animal and human is bound to lead in flaws in the research. In the 1950s, the sleeping pill thalidomide caused over 10,000 babies to be born with deformities after the testings on animals were positive before its commercial release. The test results that fail on animals are more than likely to be thrown out as an option. However, these may have been effective on humans. That is another risk we take when using animals' tests for human medicine. We could have already found many cures of different diseases we already knew, but they ended up being thrown out. As a part of society, I urge you to read about the subject, because your vote in the future could help save the life of thousands of animals. Animal testing is very inefficient, and the results we get aren't worth the money or the troubles we put on these animals.